Any of you want to make citizen comments?
I don't already.
You still make a comment. Really like to stand up and make a comment too, while he's eating.
Okay, because let's go get started. Go ahead and call a meeting to order. I thank you everybody for coming tonight, and let me go ahead and just read this. I know it doesn't look like we have any citizens here right now, but I want to go ahead and read this anyway. This agenda item for citizen comments provides an opportunity for citizens to address the board or committee on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the board or committee should complete a citizen comments registration form and submit it to the board liaison or board chair prior to the start of the meeting. There's a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak, with reasonable limitation on speakers on one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on the same topic item. Anyone wishing to speak shall be courteous and cordial. The board or committee is not permitted to take action on any subject raised by a speaker during citizen comments. However, the chair may have the item placed on a future agenda for action, refer the item to the city administration for further study or action, briefly state existing city policy, or provide a brief statement of factual information in response to inquiry. Okay, if we could, having read that, let's go ahead and continue with the meeting. And let's go to C1, which is consider approval of the minutes for the September 19, 2024 meeting and take appropriate action. Any comments, questions, or any discussion at all on the minutes?
Do you want to add the guest's last name, Mary Beth's last name on here?
Yes, what is Mary Beth's last name?
Dimijan, Dimijan.
Okay,
And I want to add under C2 that Adrian Young seconded and motion carried. That was in there.
and we made just a little minor edit to C5, third paragraph down. The sentence reads currently, so the city acted quickly to get it down. And we're gonna change the word down to done. Does anybody else have any other edits? Or any changes to the minutes? If not, can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion. Jim did an absolutely wonderful job on those minutes. So I make a motion.
Here, very impressive. Here.
With the changes, with the amendment.
With the amendment.
Second.
Second. Anybody else? Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. So let's go to C2, which is consider approval of the 2025 meeting dates and take appropriate action.
Board, we just added the meeting dates for next year to where we can go ahead and take action on getting these dates set. We've got a meeting each month, an optional meeting set in July, and we're set for no meetings in December. The schedule. We always can call a meeting, just to give everybody a heads up with proper notice. Anytime we can call a special meeting. We can change this if we need to down the road, but what I like to do is just be able to set our calendar. So I know council is going to look at setting their calendar, I believe, at the meeting next week for next year. So that way we all have a direction. You can all put it on your calendar. It's approved by the board, and we can make any changes. If there's any now, if there's anything of discussion, just we can talk through that.
Robert, this is still the third Thursday of the month, right?
And do we need to make a motion to approve these dates?
I make a motion we accept these dates.
Thank you. Any second?
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we go to C3, discuss Arbor Day activities.
I just want to update the board on, so all of you know we're a Tree City, USA, city. We have been since, I believe, 84. And as part of that process, to be recognized through the National Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree City, there's certain criteria that the department has to go through. So one of the things is to have the mayor and council, the mayor proclaim our Arbor Day. So the Texas Arbor Day is held the first November of each year. Around the country, April's typically the regular Arbor Day, but because of the impact that if we in Texas, planted trees in April, it's very difficult with our heat for those trees to survive. So that's State Forestry Service moved our Arbor Day to later in the year to be able to accommodate the extreme temperatures that we have. So with that, we will do the proclamation at the next week's council meeting, October 22nd, during ceremonial. You all are welcome to, it's on the agenda. You're welcome to attend if you like. In addition to that, we are going to be talking internally. What I wanted to talk to the board about is possibly doing a small tree ceremony on the 1st, that Friday. And if any of you are interested, I was kind of wanted to leave it up to the board. If that's something that the board would be interested in having, we can accommodate that. If we know there's going to be a lot of you there, we'll have to post it and as kind of an event. But we can get you all details. We can email it to you. I just wanted to kind of see, so it'd be in a couple of weeks. So if that's something the board's interested in, we could put something together and get you details. And we could post it and take care of that legal side of it. But haven't determined a park yet. We could do something central to the city. What my intent would be is to do this every year on Arbor Day, and of course, move it around. But I'm up for, any park we have, it's not a problem getting the type of tree, a location. It can be discussed at this point. Then we can kind of look at doing that every year. The Public Works Department is still doing the tree giveaway at Brookhaven College. I believe you tried to get a tree and it went really fast. So, I think that's 200 trees that they're doing. I think it's 200.
It was sold out. It was like trying to get a Taylor Swift concert.
They're gone. That's right. So there is the ability to, so the citizens are getting trees as well. I know we do check residency and stuff like that to give those trees away, but, so I'm kind of, open the floor to if anyone's interested, if you've got some ideas, we can kind of discuss those.
If we did that, then approximately what time of day would we do that?
I'm open to that. If, we could probably do a morning time we have everything prepped and, you guys just need to show up and we could do a little photo op and push it out on social media and kind of let everybody know, hey, it's recognizing Arbor Day. We'll kind of start that process really next week at council when we do the proclamation. But if that's something we want to do, we can even let council know next week at the meeting that we're going to dedicate a tree at one of the parks.
We can't, we've got a fundraiser that day, the three of us in the morning.
Yeah.
We could do it later in the afternoon.
French Women's Club has their big event from roughly, we're tied up from 8:30 to 2.
We can do something in the afternoon.
It's gonna be cooler anyway, so first thing in the morning would probably be cool.
I think it sounds like a good idea. What do you guys think? Is it?
I like the idea.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you thought of it and thought about asking us. So I think it's terrific.
Especially if it's an afternoon.
Yeah.
So afternoon sounds like, okay. Two, so like between like 3 or 4, something like that. I can't see it taking longer than 30 minutes.
I get 4, but I'm working from home on Friday, so I can.
Yeah, it'll be on Friday. So let's look at something Friday, on Friday the 1st, let's say between, 3 and 4. I'll get with my staff and we'll firm it up. Is there a particular park that you all would want to look at? And we kind of, I'm hoping we can pick one, but I thought if there's some particular.
Didn't we take a bunch off Rawhide?
We have lost quite a few trees off Rawhide, so we can look at Rawhide. We typically like to put it somewhere where we have some irrigation, where we can keep it irrigated. Most all the parks we have are irrigated, so I think you all would choose something that's
What about
irrigated.
Dutch Village, since that's something where
We could do something there.
I think that Rawhide is an active project right now, right?
Okay.
Well, part of it is with the new trail portion going by the library, but I mean, we're open to whatever.
I was gonna say whatever you guys think is the greatest need, but Dutch Village would,
I'm just thinking since we're gonna be putting on all new, playground in there and everything. I don't know whether the trees were damaged in the fire.
Why don't we do this? I'll get with my staff to see maybe what would work better between Dutch and Rawhide. We'll put that in the details, getting back out to you.
Also, Mark probably knows if there's a park that doesn't come immediately to mind that has a need.
Yeah, exactly. You guys think, yeah, there's a certain, exactly what I was
And
thinking.
his crews are out there now doing all of that trimming and all of that work.
Yeah, they may have, but they just dying for a tree. So, yeah,
Well, and we hear about citizens asking about more trees in the dog park too. So that's another one that, you know, we've been asked about.
Are there any trees in the dog?
Give someone the,
Some,
yeah.
Because people already be there, so for your photo, op, people already there.
Built-in audience, maybe some four-legged friends there.
but I go back to, if Mark thinks there's if the team thinks there's a spot that really needs it.
Yeah, and we just have to make sure we can act, like I said, access water. Okay, is there any particular tree that you all would want to see planted? I mean, is there anything?
One that's colorful in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah. right.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of those Schumer.
And Schumardo?
Yeah.
I've got some, what are called fire dragon maples.
Okay.
Scarlet.
Okay.
That's a cool name too.
Hmm?
Has a cool name too.
Okay, so we'll do afternoon. We'll get with staff on kind of location. We'll firm that up and then we'll look at kind of a leaf drop, good color. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. I think and then what we'll do is now that we do this, you all be thinking about it for next year. It's the same Friday every year. And I think from what I understand, the tree giveaway is so successful. It's like the third year I think we've had the tree giveaway. So, I think council's very supportive of that. So, yeah, I think we'll just kind of have this whole list of activities. We'll do proclamation, tree giveaway. We'll plant our tree and we'll kind of rotate that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comment on this? Thing? If not, let's go to C4, receive aquatic center third quarter.
Before I get started, anyone have any questions about the report?
I had a question in terms of the revenue, rental revenue in particular soared by 42% from last year. I was just curious what your thoughts were on driving it, but it wasn't anything specific, but just, why don't you go ahead and go through it? Can we ask questions as you go?
Yeah. Okay, so our Q3 is gonna be from October through the end of June. We're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna go back into summer. So the Frog Pond opened Memorial Day weekend. So our revenue increased 7% compared to the same time last year. During that time, the first month, in a couple of days, Frog Pond, we had 21,567 guests. Surge in attendance, along with increased membership sales, season pass, day passes, and rentals, it boosted our revenue. Yeah, we did face some challenges. As you know, we had a small storm that reached us on May 28th. Our building lost power, so we were shut down for 3.5 days. Then it decided to rain a little bit more. And that following weekend, we had a lot of rain, so we were closed basically. So we did lose revenue. We also lost some rental revenue because people during that time. Memberships, next one, we increased by 8%. During this time, the third quarter, we had Frog Pond sales start to show up. So we had 128 Frog Pond sale passes. So that includes family and individuals, and 13 individuals bought 10 punch cards. Then our natatorium had 676 members, so that's paying members. Then we had 276 silver program members, so that's your silver sneakers, renew active, or silver fit, so a third party vendor is paying their membership. And we also have the 236 classic all access members. That includes the rec center, TBC, and us. And that started in October of last year. So, so that increased, our memberships did increase. Then we're gonna go to day passes. So new this year is our non-resident fee did go up. Previous years it was $8. This year it went up to, non-resident went up $2, so it started at $10, and that took effect on May 28th when we opened the Frog Pond. Rain, the first first weekend in June, also the first week we were affected by the weather. So rain affected the first weeks of summer with thunderstorms on June 1st and June 2nd, drastically reduced our weekend attendance. Additionally, that first week in June, it was still a little chillier, and we did have some small storms that came in the morning, which are affected our swim lesson program that is held in our lagoon pool. Programs. So we had, our revenue was 71,131. I know that it's down from previous years. A couple reasons why is we had, we reduced our cost for the lifeguard training course. If you guys remember, before American Red Cross did an update, it was officially released in February, gave us time in March to prepare. So during a time in April and May, we were recertifying our staff in the new update. So we ended up with 66 individuals that needed to do the recertification. That does not include the ones who took our class in March with the new program. So all staff was updated, which resulted in a 90% fully staffed for these past summer. We hosted our first junior lifeguard in June. We had 10 participants in that class. Then in our fitness class, for the first 9 months, we had 3,330 who participated in our fitness program, which is a 4% increase from the previous year. Excuse me. Then we had our Flex Pass, which allows flexibility. Then we introduced in the fall the Splash Pass. If you had a classic membership or any silver program membership, you pay a significant reduced rate. So that was targeting our seniors, and that did very well and continues to do well. So we had 40 with that. Then we had 623 participate in our swim lesson program. So in June, we offer swim lessons in the morning. We offer summer funshine. They are able to take classes in the morning. So we did 15 max for summer funshine. So and all those classes filled up very quickly. So of all those, we had 478 were residents and 145 were non-residents.
Paul, I have a question.
Yes.
I know it's in the numbers here, but you'll bear with me on this one. When they gave the discounts for old people, senior citizens. Old people like me, yeah, us. How did that affect the overall revenue?
It helped me.
It helped.
It helped me. So we have individuals who typically go to Branch Connection or Rec Center. So it was a new opportunity to come to a new building. So Classic is either $100 for the year or $9. That is a steal for seniors over. During the renovation time, we had our facility was able to be used because they showered at our facility. So at that time we were marketing. They loved us. That's why we introduced a Splash Pass so they could do a fitness class. So that program, our new membership, did help us. Right now, TBC is under renovation. So our program or some of the TBC programs are held at our facility. So our staff won them over and we let them know you pay this amount. You can add on 2 additional facilities for this amount. And also if you have Renew Active, Silver Seeker, Silver Fit, you're coming to our building, even though you're participating in this TBC program, you were signed up for one of our memberships. So we saw it as an opportunity to market ourselves to individuals who would not come to our facility during it before, but now they're, let's say forced, but they're able to attend our facility. And so we did gain new members because of that.
So Paul, I got another question for you.
Yes.
Back under memberships, you say, and 8 individuals with punch cards. What do we call, what is a punch card? What is it?
It's a 10 punch card, so you don't want to,
Okay.
you don't want to buy yearly membership or a ongoing membership, so you're basically buying 10 daily visits.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now let's go to rentals. We are very busy in Frog Pond. One of the biggest complaints we get is that we rent too much. So, and you'll learn in quarter four what we did. We have a lot of rentals. So the weekend that I mentioned, June 1st and June 2nd, they were moved to different rental dates in June. So we did fill up, which caused our revenue to go up, but also it caused limited seating for those coming in for general public. And that was one of the complaints we received. So we adjusted that, which you'll learn about quarter four. So, and we have our party package, continue to do well, and pavilion party package, and our after hour rentals do well. So that sells out very quickly. And our pre-hour that we do on Sunday, that's typically one of the first ones to sell out. So all our rentals that we did offer in June were sold out. The ones that were canceled because of weather. Now there's a couple dates that we don't do in June. We don't have after hour rentals in Father's Day. But
How much of the rentals are non-Farmers Branch residents?
49 were residents and 45 were non-residents. So you're about half and
Sorry, couldn't read the spreadsheet.
half. We're Farmers Branch is centrally located. Previous years, colleagues of mine in Irving, Dallas, Carrollton, Plano, Louisville, they were affected by staffing, so they weren't able to open. It continued this year. City of Plano didn't open on Wednesdays. City of Louisville didn't open on Mondays. So you saw individuals come over here. We reached as far as down to Waxahachie and as far north as Melissa on weekends.
And I guess the reasoning for my questioning is when you say sold out and half of them are non-Farmers Branch residents, are you experiencing where Farmers Branch residents are trying to rent the facility and because you're sold out? they
Residents typically come Monday through Friday. Than non-residents. Our residents typically come more Monday through Friday. Non-residents typically come on the weekends because they're off and so they're traveling more. Our residents probably go to other facilities. And you see a lot of mothers or families during the week who buy season passes, they come in after work or during the slow time in the morning.
Paul, on the
Yes.
rentals, is it strictly first come, first serve, or do residents have any?
As of right now, for this quarter, it was first come, first served. That is something we are discussing internally, trying to look at our, I know Summer Punch, I had residents or this day, non-residents or this day. That's something we are discussing.
I just didn't know if that might help some residents.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would hate to think that Farmers Branch residents who want to have a party or, reserve, and they can't because people are.
Yeah, that, like I said, we learned that this summer. That's what they were talking about. Then point of sale, so that includes your merchandise concessions. On this report, you're not going to see the concession revenue. That will hit on quarter four. Then overall expense, it's going to include, it's 8% increase. The reason why it includes chemical costs, which went up, general pool maintenance and program related fees. Our building hit 10 years, was open for the 10th summer this past summer. As with any facility, it is aging. So we have a life cycle plan that we do. So we replaced our drain covers on our lazy river. There's only one federal law for aquatics, the Virginia Graham Baker Act. Those drains needed to be replaced. They were replaced so that you're doing 10 at a high cost. We repainted the bucket on the activity pool and other structures in there and general maintenance on the slide. company that comes out. So then we did adjust our part-time staff for the summer. They were adjusted. We worked with our HR departments and Robert and Jessica. We were able to bring our starting pay up to the standard in the DFW area. How did we do with that NPS rating? So we had 90 responses in this quarter. And our score was a 90. I'm sorry, our score was a 90 with 60 responses. Our overall rating was a 92. To wrap it up, the management staff worked on updating the aquatics manual, the back end to Learn to Swim program, the American Red Cross program. All this work led to this successful start in the Broad Pond season, or start of the summer season.
Are you anticipating any major repairs or maintenance updates?
Aquatics is going, like I said, we're reaching our 10-year, so it is general repair all the time. Slide, activity pool, we do have some repairs that we need, I wouldn't say repairs. General maintenance that we need to indoor. We're reaching our 10-year mark, so our we're looking at that. So we have a life cycle that goes through. Something on my hand.
Another question for you.
Yes.
So back under point of sale, we say the total was 5,280.
Yeah, typo. I added one.
Just say $5,300.
Yes.
So the question is, on alcohol sales, just curious, how much of that is alcohol sales?
That one, vendor started in May. I didn't get the payment from them until July. So the number that's reflected here is not gonna reflect any payment from concession stand.
Okay, so let me ask the question a different way. I was just curious, do we, because you said that alcohol sales, that was a good thing.
Yes.
It was very well received.
Mhm.
Just curious, do we have an idea what revenue stream that is specifically alcohol sales? Just curious.
I would have to look at it, but I do have a breakdown of it. He sends me a report of how much he sells, food, non-alcoholic drinks and alcohol. He sends that report. He did his payment for May and June and July, so I would have to look at that email to see what the breakdown was.
Okay. If not
And
urgent.
I could pass that along to Jessica or Robert.
Yeah, we'll get that back to you.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I know you said it was a good thing, that's great, and it doesn't seem like, it seemed like people were happy with it, I'm just curious,
Yeah,
how much of an impact that's.
yeah, I go for those.
Is this the second year we've offered?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our second year.
Be interesting to see too, what last year compared to this year too. So we might look at that.
Yeah.
And this 5,000 doesn't include alcohol at all,
No.
right? Okay.
So the next,
Yeah, so my first check that I got from was in July, which will be reflecting quarter four. This is gonna reflect towels, goggles, other merchandise that we sell.
Good. Do you sell sunscreen?
We do not. I have looked at that. We do have community sunscreen, so if someone does forget, we do provide it for them. So, but yeah.
And I also wanted to mention, Paul doesn't brag on him and his team enough, but I get the Listen 360 emails every day, and I'm up at the crack of dawn, and the first thing I see every single day when those listeners, Paul and the aquatic staff, the friendliness, the customer service is top tier. And so that is what retains your current membership, and that is your best marketing piece to get them to tell their family and friends. And so hats off to Paul and his team for giving the best type of marketing experience we can, because it's reflected in these people are taking the time to do the Listen 360 and submit that information.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Any other
Anybody have
questions?
any questions? Thank you, Paul. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And now we go to C5, receive community events, third quarter report.
So that, I will be giving that presentation tonight of this report. Jocelyn Navina is out. So for the third quarter, these are covering the month of April through June for community events. We launched and completed the 5th season of Denton Drive Live concert series. The period also saw the new events team putting on the ongoing preparations for Independence Day. So, once Denton Drive Lives kind of settled down, they went head on for that. Additionally, planning the different events for this new budget year, fiscal year 24-25. We had, Denton Drive Live generated revenue in April of about $1,100. And May 250, it did start raining, about an hour or so into the event, at a hard pace. And so we had to cancel the event at that point. And then June, it was completely canceled. So that's why the revenue totals are about, a little bit less than 1,400. Our expenses for Denton Drive Live, you can see when we were able to host the entire event, it was 10,700. May was a little bit less, about 7,000. And then the 450, because we canceled that event, there were some costs that were incurred that we could not cancel and lost. So we had 453 in expenses there. Our sponsorships for the month of April, we didn't see any. Month of May, we had sponsorships for Denton Drive Live about 666. June, none, so that would total us to 666.
So the big event that we had in April, that was with the Elton Johns and the Beatles. We didn't have a sponsor for that. That thing was packed.
It was,
It was a great crowd.
yeah. Our attendance, as you said, it was packed. It was 2,000 attendees for the April Denton Drive Live series. May had 320, and then June, we did not have it. So concluding the events report, the third quarter marked a transition from the previous events team to the new events team, which began in May. The first event was the second Denton Drive Live, so the May one was a key start with staff continuing to establish continuing the established practice of setting up on Friday before, aligning well with the parks crews, which worked well. The new events team also took over additional responsibilities. The new events coordinator, which you guys met the last meeting, meeting before last, Stephanie Perez joined the team. Her skills have been a significant asset. In mid-June, they started booking the entertainment for the Blooming Bluegrass Festival. Tickets went on sale in July, and VIP, we have 4 VIP cabanas also went on sale in August. The planning continued for Blooming Bluegrass, Christmas in the Branch, as well as finalizing the 24-25 events during council presentations. Where you guys saw we had some events eliminated for this current fiscal year. Overall, the events team has achieved significant milestones, successfully building on the foundation laid by the previous team. They have navigated new opportunities and challenges, making great strides in maintaining and rebranding our community events.
So Denton Drive Live is gonna go away. We're not gonna have that next year, right?
So what, for this fiscal year, and kind of what we're looking at doing, is possibly reinstating one of our multicultural events committees. It was a task force. And from that, look at possibly creating some type of an events committee where we can hear from the feedback, hear from the community, get feedback, and get a proposal in place that we can then propose to the council for the following fiscal year. We did get money in this fiscal year to plan a Halloween event for October 2025. But as far as like the Denton Drive Live series and different, the markets and stuff, we are not planning on doing for this fiscal year. So we want to work with the community on what it is that they're looking for, what are our families looking for, what are the adults looking for, as far as community event planning. And so that'll determine what we can do with as far as the facilities go and programming. You know, we have pancakes and pajamas here, and at the aquatic center we have different programs and events. So just kind of figuring out where we're going, where this community is looking for their events kind of take place, shaping form.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments?
How does that group get formed?
It would be the council. it would be the council, would kind of come to them with a presentation and kind of what we can support in whatever direction they give us, we would then take it on.
So November 12th meeting, Councilman Roman has on the agenda to discuss reforming multicultural task force. And so at that point, we'll figure out how it's gonna move forward. And if they want to reestablish it, the one this past year sunsetted, they had a specific time that council, by resolution, the council wanted them to be there for the event, plan the event, and they were sunset, end of April. So basically, they're gonna look at reestablishing that, maybe changing some of what that does, maybe like Jess said, so instead of just maybe focus on multicultural, it could be, they broaden their scope a little bit. But we'll keep the board updated on how that moves forward and, probably by the December meeting, because that November 12th was, that's right. So we might be able to give you all an update in November, how that goes, but it will be discussed at the November 12th meeting, so.
Any other questions?
Any other questions or comments? Just. Next, we go to volunteer information.
So you guys should have all received an email in regards to Christmas. And so we attached just kind of the letter, the breakdown of the event date, dinner, opening, your assistance that's needed. And then we also have going to be a Christmas carnival. We'll have different opportunities for volunteers to sign up. You're more than welcome to look through this, and then you can email Linda back what it is that you're looking for to volunteer for, and she'll get that over to our events team. We also kind of put a temporary map in there for you, so you can see, determine, do you want to be in the kids area? Do you want to be near the fireworks? Where is it that you feel you can best volunteer at?
Last year, didn't we do the
Santa.
gazebo?
See, yeah, we did.
Yeah. So can we just volunteer that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we put a variety in case you didn't, like, if multiple people wanted to volunteer at one time, there were enough spots at the Santa gazebo. So there's other opportunities, but yes, you can still do the gazebo as well.
I think we broke it up in shifts where some took the early shift, some took the late shift. And
Right,
I think that's a good
yeah,
Yeah.
and it
way to
took
do it.
multiple ones of us
It
on
really
any given shift.
So how,
Really cover it.
Yeah.
so how about we just replicate what we did last year?
Sure.
And so I hear what you're saying. If people that want to do other stuff, they
Yeah.
can. Let's just replicate what we did. I thought that worked well last year.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That works.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you'll just email Linda if you would like to volunteer, and then Stephanie and Jonathan will get the details to you.
Or do you want to kind of do like last year? You kind of just say, we'll take the gazebo,
Yeah.
Santa gazebo,
So
and
Linda,
then we'll do it.
you're right here. Instead of having to email you, can you just make that happen? Can we just replicate what last year?
Well, we'll still need to know, like, who's doing the first shift, who's doing the second shift.
Well, send me that thing and we can all sign up. It's just whatever we did last year. I remember,
We kind of went around the table.
and yeah, we can do it electronically. Just send me the stuff. We could,
Send you what stuff?
well, to
We'll
sign up.
take care of it.
Yeah, last year it seemed like it was just, okay, I'll take the first shift, you take the second shift. It was like a,
Yeah, we had to sign up.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just
We had a
replicate
different
that.
team last year. also.
Yeah, so we have it digitally now. We have it on Sign Up Genius where you just click and kind of put your information in there. So,
I signed up for Bluegrass, it was virtual.
yeah, so we can do paper form and get that to you.
Well, whatever. I don't want to cause a problem. Just whatever, just
Is it just a link?
last year.
It's
We'll see.
pretty well, we covered these first three responsibilities,
Right.
both shifts.
Okay,
So that pretty well used those of us on the board.
Nice.
And that takes care of all of that. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
Speaking of virtual, are we going to let them donate virtually? We talked about it last year. Essentially, as one of the
Oh, yeah,
debriefs
we
thought,
we did have some people
Because
say, yeah.
they didn't have cash,
QR
and
code.
they would have done, yeah.
QR code that they can.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't have cash.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but it just.
Oh,
I
I think about third.
Yeah, I think right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot more than I. It's a generational thing there again.
Exactly.
Well, and when most events you go to at most ballparks and
Yeah, they don't take cash.
they
It was
only
something-
take, plastic.
No, you're right. If we could make it so that they do plastic, that's better.
Or Apple
Because there
Pay,
were people that
whatever.
couldn't pay cash.
And we should have that happen as they're waiting in line to go in.
Yes,
They're ready to go by the time they get through that
Correct,
line and get that picture and start out.
correct.
So if we
I
can,
saw, I think if we had one in both places.
Well, that's
some of
true. We
them
can do
wanted
it
to
at the
give
end.
after the.
But-
But you're right.
but I think we miss a lot when by the
Yeah.
time they've waited in line and
Correct.
then they're ready to move
Then
on.
when they come in,
Their
they're
kids
back
are
to
ready to move
Well,
on.
I was
that's
gonna say, the smaller the children, the faster they get out of there.
The other idea from last year that came up was a cute, like Christmassy stroller parking sign, because they couldn't bring the strollers in the line. And there's a whole bunch of area that they were just trying to figure it out. So if you made a stroller parking right back behind the gazebo right there, or right in front of it.
We could probably do like a tent with sidewalls, so that they're protected in there, and then you just have like stroller parking.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
cute.
great.
Yeah, because that, I mean,
That was
nobody
the
really
challenge.
caused a problem, but when you told people, no, you can't take the stroller through the line, and then it kind of,
So
so
put it right
there
over.
was enough to where they could see, oh, this is where strollers go.
Yeah.
Before they got in line, I think it would help.
Yeah, those are simple asks. We can take care of
And
that.
if
I'm
we're
gonna check
using,
that email and forward it to you, because there was an email about ideas.
Okay,
You can use or not use, but I don't think you have to.
sure,
yeah.
if we're using the mailbox for some, to collect the cash donations at first, a mail bucket or something in there to catch them is good, and a good size sign like we used to have when we did the drive-through that says donations. Also helps them
Yeah.
recognize it. It's not just us saying,
Yeah.
could we have $5?
You're right. Yeah.
So it's a good visual for them to see that.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We kind of did the same thing with this year for Blooming Bluegrass. Normally, we're like, okay, if you're at this hotel this way, so what we did, we got the big tents and we put big signs so that, you know, you can see it through all the traffic.
Oh.
So we can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
All those notes came out of, we thought the donations were a little low last year. We looked at the final total, so we were trying to think of why that happened.
thank you. All those requests are doable and we'll.
I think it'll help.
And is it going for scholarships again?
Yes, we're gonna use scholarship fund.
Okay.
That helps if we can say that.
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
I can put that on one thing.
Yeah.
Or even the signage maybe.
Yeah,
says
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because generally, we would tell people what the money was for.
Yeah.
They were much more eager to donate than.
Good. Okey dokey, then we go to, C6 Recreation Division update. Jessica?
Yes, so I will give a short update and then Ashley will follow. Will follow in with her third quarter report. I kind of, really the big thing that we have is, Jocelyn and I went to North Carolina about 3 weeks ago to accept, International Bluegrass Music Association conference to accept the IBMA Distinguished Achievement Award on behalf of the Boomer Bluegrass Festival and the City of Farmers Branch. And so we were joined with Mayor Lynn, went out there, it was a great time. Jocelyn and I got kind of the whole hotel experience that our hotel guests, attendees of this event will be getting. We kind of took it up a notch and stayed on the jamming floor, which was really fun, and they jammed all the way until 3 a.m. And then they cheered after every single song was over, and it was just a really good time. And I never realized how many youth bluegrass players that there are. There were so many, and I was like, oh my goodness, yeah. So we are super excited and look forward to welcoming all of our guests around the nation to Farmers Branch this weekend. We also are wrapping up, the Rec Center is wrapping up their fall holiday craze, which is new. CFBISD had this entire week off, which normally it's just Columbus Day, a Friday or a Monday. But this week, the district took an entire week off. And so the team thought it would be great to offer that childcare experience for our residents for this entire week. And they filled up, they got 33 kids. They went on a field trip. They did a lot of outdoor recreation, indoor recreation. And so that was a good time for them. But that's what I have. Anybody have any questions? Recreation update?
Thank you.
And then,
I just want to say, that's really cool that y'all did the week. I think that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, our staff has been doing really good. Kate's been doing really well. You'll met her at the last board meeting. She's super, super creative. So the kids, unfortunately, we don't post the pictures anymore on Facebook. We have an app now that we're using for our parents, but if y'all want to see it one day, we can definitely show you. So, Kate's very creative with the crafts. It's loved it. So, alrighty, so I'll get started on our Q3 update. So we'll start with revenue. So we had a 14% increase in total or in revenue for a total of $424. We're still contributing this increase to the membership, increased cost. And then you'll see some of our revenue for Summer Sunshine and our teen leadership program in this one. Moving on to membership revenue, we have a 31% increase for a total of $239,647. Again, our membership increased cost is contributed to it. TBC did relocate in May to the church just because we had 300 kiddos here. And so they took up all the rooms, but that didn't do a heavy impact on us. We were still seeing TBC members coming here, still working out, walking the track. So we didn't see as much numbers of scans as we normally would when they're here, but they were still here. And then, so now they're back. They've been back since mid-August. And so we anticipate our memberships going up a little bit more after that. Excuse me, our program revenue, we had a 35% increase in program revenue for a total of just under 40,000. We believe the increase was due to school starting to let out around that time. This was the April and May and June months, and then rental and user revenue. We had a 20% increase for a total of $124,469. We did have a different pay structure implemented during this time, so that was due to the big increase there. Our youth revenue did go down by 13%. We did just have a lot of families taking vacations in June with Summer Sunshine and the teen leadership program. Parents are able to unenroll their kiddos. They can go take a vacation, and if we have room, they can re-enroll later. So we did see a lot of vacations in end of June, early July. And then for day pass revenue, we did have a 22% decrease from last year. But if you remember, in April, we did a floor resurfacing that took the entire month. We took the bleachers out, did a floor resurfacing. If you haven't seen our new bleachers, they're beautiful. But that did cause our day pass revenue to go down. That was 30 something days of being closed. So, and our basketball players love their gym. So, for events and miscellaneous, we made a $6,045 this quarter. Just still contributed to the loss of Halloween in the park revenue, and then going down on teen leadership programs registrations weren't as high during these months. But towards the end, the kids loved it. Our teen camp staff did amazing. Their personalities were great for those teenagers. I don't know how they do it, but they did it wonderfully. And so you'll see that come back up in July for us. So our compounded expenses. So even with staffing Hoya, so we did decrease by 80% of our expensive. So even with staffing Hoya early April, and then even our summer programs starting, we still were able to cut costs by 18%.
How are you able to do that? That's
Just-
impressive.
Right. So not just not spending as much. So as far as like things for crafts for Summer Sunshine and things like that, Jessica did a really good job at like preparing us for this summer and all the materials that we needed. So our team was just able to reutilize a lot of the things that we've had in the past. And we were able to go through that closet just this past month, cleaning up after Summer Sunshine. There's a lot that Kate is using for her holiday programs now too. So we just have a plethora of this stuff that we're trying to get creative. Kate, like I said earlier, Kate's creative, so she's using what we have. That's what we did this summer.
they also worked really hard with, kind of downsizing their staffing levels. And so they would watch, the room ratios, grade ratios, send staff home, put themselves, the full-time team, in kid zone or front desk, so that way they could kind of shorten the time frame that staff was here and allocated the resources here onto the full-time team, which drastically helps. I kept up with their payroll. Every time payroll would hit, I'm like, good job, Rec Center team, because it takes a lot of time to sit there and watch those numbers. But if you watch them closely, you can kind of keep up with it. And so now they know for like holiday craze, they're able to continue on that savings, even though we're into a new budget year. She's able to continue to see where she most needs the staff. Do the kids go home around lunchtime? Do they go home around 3? So we can reduce staffing from 3 to 6. So I think it was a great learning opportunity for Ashley as a first-time manager this past summer.
And I will say a lot of that was Celeste. Again, like Jessica said, it's my first time running summer. And so Celeste was really good at watching the numbers for me and letting me know, like, hey, let's cut back this week, or we can afford this week. And so that's how we did it.
Thank you.
Cost recovery. So we were at a 111% cost recovery for this quarter. And you can see our overall revenue and expenses right there. We did well this quarter. Our NPS score is still maintaining at an 80. And we have the last quarter, I know I talked about, we had a lot of feedback about the prices, our increase in membership, and having some feedback from that. That has settled a little bit. Knock on wood, but it stayed like that. So we're sitting steady at an 80 NPS score, and then our Google rating is still 4.7. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to ask you the same question I asked Paul. No.
Oh, perfect.
For
Okay.
the rec center now. Since we've been a year into the old folks, where they pay $100 per year. What have you seen as far as what impact has that had? Has it had the same as topics, or is it different in the rec center?
I think it's similar to what Paul has experienced, also with TBC literally being in our building. That just has a whole different impact in itself. As Paul, like, he has some of the programs there, but we have a lot of their programs here. And so we're seeing, right now, for us, just transparently, we don't sell as many of those just because we do with TBC's membership, we allow them to come here. So that's kind of the stipulation right now while they're in our building and they don't have a building of their own. And so I anticipate once they do go to their new building that we'll get those memberships still. Because we have a lot of their members that really do like the track and the fitness equipment, the upstairs area that's a little bit quieter for them. So maybe not as much as an impact as Paul, but still some.
Their biggest impact, so I do the silver program reporting. They saw a significant increase in silver program scans, silver sneakers, all those, because TBC is here. So they almost doubled what they normally did. And you saw a decline when TBC went to the church. Their numbers did, I wouldn't say dip, but they went almost back to normal. Then when they came back in August, you saw it go back up. So I would say the biggest impact renovation has had for rec center would be TBC, because they're signing up for rec center Renew Active program. They're utilizing not only the rooms, but also utilizing the track, the gymnasium, with their fitness classes.
That's good to hear that increase.
Any other questions for?
Going back to day passes for a second. We thought that there would be a drop off because of the price increase and the number of people using the day pass. Have we seen that? Other than, I understand that some day, but
Not from what I've seen. We try to convince those kids or those teenagers to get memberships, and they don't want to. They're willing to pay the $15 for a non-resident day pass or the $7 for. So I haven't seen it. We're still sitting pretty steady.
They may not be able to think they're gonna afford it the whole time, so they're probably thinking.
Well, we try to explain that it'd be a lot cheaper financially, but
Well, no, is I may not have that money tomorrow, but I have it today. I can
Right,
spend it
right.
today, I can't spend it tomorrow.
right.
So,
I'll just tell you from other communities, it's the same.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just, and I think too, a lot of it has to do with those teenagers get a $20 bill from mom and dad for the day, they're just gonna use that, go play, even though we explain to them, this 20 could go a lot further. And, but yeah, it's the same here as it was in the community I was at. So it's interesting.
We try, but we try to convert them memberships that they like, they're being.
Any other questions for Ashley? Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Now we go to C7, receive Parks Department project update.
And I'm gonna kind of speak for Mark as well. Mark is out today, so I will kind of cover parks. And we kind of use the project updates. If there's any parks questions that come up along the way, we can kind of cover those as well. Get through these. So first on the list is the Dutch Village. Give you all kind of an idea of kind of where we are. We've got some prices back from the vendor. We wanted to give you all the this is the latest and greatest, picture, from the vendor. We were going back and forth with some of the coloring, but this is kind of, I think, the final iteration of kind of what we're putting out there in Dutch Village. I will tell you, we are gonna probably look at, and we were gonna look at trying to take this in November. I think we're gonna look at maybe trying to do some outreach with the community in and around the park to kind of get some input before we do a final order and take it to council. We garnered your input, which is great. That gives us kind of a good starting point. And then, but we are getting our new park planner. We're hiring a park planner that starts on Monday. Her name's Tara Bradley. She comes from City of Rowlett. Probably have her at the next meeting, introduce her to. And one of her charges is going to be some of the outreach for some of these park projects. So we'll probably it'll probably be a little early. She's just starting next week. I don't know how much we'll have ready to go by the time the meeting comes around, but we'll at least get you guys introduced and maybe get a game plan and we'll get you all updated on how we're going to do that. So with all that said, probably do some outreach either end of the year, early next year, then package everything probably early 25 and kind of, we'll go from there and see then take it to council. So typically, the thing is about these vendors we're not really necessarily, we typically have them on a Bible. We probably are going to have to bid this project out. Actually, I'm not sure yet because the vendor is on a cooperative. But we'll have to look at that when we get to that. See kind of best way once we get everything approved and we're ready to go, figure out best way to move. So, so this November 12th is probably going to be earlier next year. We'll kind of take the council. So I will tell you that if we are going to start as winter projects, we're going to be prepping that area and getting it ready. I know the playground is out of there. The damaged one has been removed. There's some dirt work and things that they need to do. We are looking at some signage too. I'm not sure it's up yet. I know Parks is working on it. We want to be able to put coming soon, work ahead. We're gonna put some signs there and then Mercer Park as well as and we'll get to that, but just so folks know kind of what's going on. They're gonna have a QR code on the sign. So people go by or walk by, that'll kind of go back to our projects or back to the website. So we want to make sure all that's correct. So if people do use the QR code, it's taking them where they need to go. So just to let you guys know that.
Make sure you use one of them that doesn't time out too, because that happened to me at work on one of the things. Some of the QR code websites will time it out.
Oh,
where
okay.
it's not live anymore. Didn't realize that's what happened.
Okay, that's good. I'll make a note of that. All right, John Burke, that's the next one. Is there any questions on Dutch? I know I'm going kind of fast.
Actually, I'm really happy you're gonna go to get public feedback. I think that's great.
Yes, I just think it's gonna be, because I know the residents haven't had that playground for quite a while, and so I want them to understand we are working, and it's just kind of been one of those things. And then before we go ordering a lot of equipment that they don't like, or they don't, we want to make sure we kind of get some blessings. So we'll probably look at some outreach, like survey, maybe do one public meeting or we talked about even doing a meeting, weather permitting, something on site. Kind of garner people, like, tell the neighborhood, hey, we're gonna be here. And that'll be something similar to some of the other projects as well, so. Okay, on John Burke, they are finally starting I was told they're gonna be starting the septic system soon, so, well, it's still in flux. It's not nothing's working yet, but at least the restroom is there. I'm just happy it's there.
We got a picture of it.
We'll get you updated, yes. We are in the process of trying to find a vendor to get the new overlook. This is actually the old one. I just wanted to kind of put a picture of, kind of remind you all of what the old one looked like. It'll be similar to this one and just be a little bit shorter and a little more closer to, won't stretch out as far into toward the water's edge, I guess.
That is out there quite far. isn't
It was quite, yeah, so it'll be basically that first ramp you see and where it makes the jog to the right. That stays, and then basically as it goes out toward the water is where we kind of shorten that, so. So I think it'll still have impact. I think it'll still worth finishing that project, and we'll keep you guys all posted on when that finally gets completed. So finally have some good news on Hoya. We finally have got the vendor set up, their boring materials for the fencing. So the plan is they'll start here in the next, I think next week, they're gonna actually start. And then, what you'll see is as they install the new permanent fencing, they'll take down the temporary. So, that way we don't just leave it open. And so that's kind of how that'll go. And I'm not sure how long, I'd say at least 2-3 weeks to get it all in, depending, weather pending, going this time of year, you never know. So that's coming. We still got to figure out a network connection. We've got a vendor that we're looking at. I think we're going to actually end up tying in with the Spectrum probably to do. We've looked at a lot of different options, and so hopefully we'll get that going here by the end of the year. So at that point, pretty much have everything pretty much done. So hopefully we'll have everything done, and these two items done at the end of the year. So when you guys take your break in December, you come back for January meeting, I hope to not have this on the list anymore. We're just all enjoying it.
I have a question
Yes, ma'am.
because 2 weeks, well, the first Saturday of December, I had family in town. And about 9 o'clock on Saturday night, Hoya Park was elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder with adults, not just children. Was there something in particular going on that night that, you could stir the people with a stick?
Well, I do, we did this, the zip line's fixed.
Right.
And so.
Yes, I know that. My family tested it.
Yeah, and I think that's the big, I know older crowd push is the zip line. I don't know if it's as fun as the other one, but I think people are enjoying it.
Yeah, I got positive feedback from my 33-year-old godson, so. Well, I just wondered because it just seemed so strange that, and I went,
Was there anything going on at the ball fields or anything?
not that I noticed. And, there wasn't that crowd the next night or the previous night or what, and I just thought, well, maybe there was some particular reason.
Was the weather really nice? What day of the week?
Saturday night, the first Saturday of December, it was still hot, generally hot.
December?
December?
October, sorry, said the wrong that month. First Saturday of October. So I don't know that it was particularly cool that night. Cooler, obviously, because it was dark.
I noticed a whole bunch of people out the moment the temperature dropped. It was like everyone was outside again.
This was kind of when we'd gone back to warmer weather. We'd had a cool spot. This was a little warm, but anyway, okay, I just didn't know.
And we haven't planned on doing any kind of staffing again or any of that. The big thing is just try to get the fencing in, get that project done. And I think what's really helped is the no parking on Tom Field. People aren't able to park in the parking adjacent to the handicap parking, that's on-street parking. We've got bollards there now, you can't, so you have to use the parking lot.
Mhm.
And I think that just cuts down on that's really dangerous with people parking on Tom Field and the crossing traffic and things like that. So those things kind of fixed, I think that's helped flow over there quite a bit and some of the safety concerns, initially. So, hopefully, I'm just hoping we get the fence in by the end of the year. So at least that's, as we're in cool weather, it just doesn't look like construction zone. Okay, we'll move on. Branch Connection, give you all just a quick update. I think we talked about this last time. We are in the phase 2. Actually did a little mini tour the other day of the building. It's coming along. The contractors they've got all the demo done for phase 2. They are starting on actual getting stuff going, getting stuff installed. So they're on track, on target. We had a meeting yesterday. We've got a really good rhythm with the construction manager, Ruddick, the contractor's just very responsive. We have weekly meetings with them and they've got about another month left to complete the new roof that's gonna go on. So roof will be done and we're moving, and the building's it's moving forward and so right now, I would, actually the mayor asked today when they think we can move in. My hope would be that they're completing construction at the end of March. And then gives us time to get moved back in that month of April, and maybe we look at May of next year is when we maybe, or depending on how quick the contractor can get done, but that's kind of what I would hope, unless something weird happens, but that's kind of what we.
So question for you,
Yes,
just curious, just ballpark, approximately how much does it cost to put a roof on a building like that? I'm just curious.
I think it's 300, $500,000.
Yeah. we just-
I think we did get a little bit of a cost break because, they're actually gonna do the city hall roof. So the same contractor, they bid both of them at the same time, so as soon as they get done with Branch Connection, they're gonna move over to city hall. It's gonna take about another 6 to 8 weeks to get that done. So I think that helped a little bit getting those done at the same time. Any other questions on Branch Connection? Mercer Park, well, we finally own the property now. We are able to work with the developer to get all the, developer items done, except for the only thing remaining is the artwork. And they're within the amended agreement, they have 6 months to get the piece of artwork. So, I know they ordered the piece, and so, they've also went ahead and installed the base. So when it comes in, it's just a matter of installing the artwork. And then, they're able to get all the things they needed done. So we could go ahead and accept. So, they did pay us for the tree installation. So what we're gonna do is package that. So what the plan is to kind of finish this phase 1 of the project. It's gonna basically be the city going in, we're gonna go in and complete the irrigation and install the trees. And then we're just gonna get the turf established. Then that'll buy us some time to do phase 2, which would be doing the pickleball courts and things that we looked at before. So, because we got to get that engineered and designed. We have conceptually where we want to put it. We need to go ahead and get that done, and then but at least the residents that are going to they'll start moving, having townhomes in there. When they move in, they'll at least have some open space they can use, and people are already using the trail. The benches are in, so I mean, the couple times I've been out there, people are walking the trail, and they're, especially now, I can imagine with the weather as it is, that lake, it's probably one of the nicer views in the city, because you've got that, I mean, it's looking kind of that, you're going kind of looking east. So morning, you've got the sun hitting you, but that evening time, you're kind of looking opposite of the sun, and you got the water there. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice park when we get it all set up. So,
Yeah, I drove by and checked it out. It's pretty nice. It really is nice. It's a big lake too. I didn't even know that lake was back there.
I think the lake is actually Valid Improvement Authority is the one who has that, owns that lake, so, they do all the maintenance and stuff. And I went ahead and just put a Squire Park, addition in here and, just to kind of, at this point, we've kind of let that sit. We wanted to make sure we got the new funding in, so now we have the new budget year, they added the rest of the funding. So now we have there's $1 million that'll go toward this park. We just had a couple $100,000 in there. So we wanted the whole amount. We didn't want to piecemeal it. We wanted to do it all at the same time. In this park, we want to do similar kind of what we talked about at Dutch Village. We want to kind of do some more outreach. And so this will be another one that we look at probably early next year to do some outreach in the neighborhood and really firm up what the neighborhood wants, because what we put there's got to be supported. I know we've had ideas on splash pad and different things like that, but, the neighborhood is, for what we're getting back, some of the comments is they don't want a splash pad bringing a bunch of people into the neighborhood, taking advantage of their park. You know, it's a neighborhood park, it's a small park. So I think there's lots of concerns about that. So, we want to make sure that what we put in there and what we do is gonna be supported.
I echo what Jennifer said. I think that's good that you get, I think Hoya taught a lot of residents that just having a great park by your house is not always great. You know, that, and so I think having them get some in and ownership of what's going on.
And there's that, I guess that Squire is just interesting because of the layout. It's just, it's, a lot of things are kind of awkward there. And I think really creating some really park flow, things that kind of make sense. I think as we got property, you know, we put things here and if you really look at the park, it's really a great space. Trees are awesome there. It's got a really good stand of trees already. So it's just, I think it's just going to be some minor tweaks that we need, updates to the equipment and different things like that, maybe some trail connections. I know basketball is very popular there, so we definitely want to keep that as part of it. You're not sure location is the best spot. So that's some things we got to work through. Yeah. And, you know, like even a park, we've talked about it. It's a neighborhood park. Do we really need a parking lot? You know, those are all things we'll kind of work through.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the layout, because that was one of the parks that I did an audit on. And it was difficult determining, okay, what is this part of the park or is it not? Area, is that private property or is that city property?
You've got two roads that access the park.
Yeah.
So that's a little awkward as well. So what's the front door of the park? You know, so that, is it Squire or is it Richland behind that? Yeah, Richland. So,
Actually, Richland looks like the entrance.
yeah, it kind of does. I agree with you. And actually, if we did do a parking lot, that just makes more sense to do that there because you have a better way in and out. If we did one, it's because the road on Square gets really tight adjacent to the park. So I feel like you got a little more room if we did something to deal
We
with.
didn't really need a parking lot, just a little bit and then you do angle parking.
Could, yes, yes, exactly. And that's the other thing. We don't want to take up open space with a park.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's, I think, all I've got. And then is there any, since we kind of delved into a lot of things parks related, is there any general parks, questions that you all have at this point that we haven't covered already?
I guess technically then my question from the resident could come here, because it's about the dog park and the concession area.
Okay,
Some of the neighbors around here asked if we were gonna get anything regular in there, because they would come spend their money there.
So we have been working with, started having concessions there 3 years ago. However, in the winter, it was too cold, and in the summer, it was definitely hot. And so all the concessionaires that would go out to try and get and give them a tour, they're like, we can't do it. So we were able to invest a little bit of money and we put an AC unit and a heater in that facility. And so now we are actually going out to bid for the aquatics concession stand. And we're in that RFP, we're also going to include the Bark Park, Barnwood Bark Park. And so we have coffee sister sips that goes out there periodically. And they do coffee there, but we're looking for more of an ongoing food concessionaire. We have had people reach out and kind of want to make this like their restaurant. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a concessionaire that we can kind of partner with, and if we can buy paletas, and, if you're a resident, bring your pet by and you get a free paleta. Someone we can partner like that, and not so much a food chain type of restaurant trying to take over our facility. So it should I'm hoping by the spring, we should have someone in there. Because we did have JBW vending in there, and they got all their commercial, they had a nice menu, and they're the same people that use the aquatic center. It was just too hot for operations, and in the winter it was just too cold. Like, they bought space heaters and everything, like, it didn't stand because the windows were different. So that's when, if you've noticed, we moved to like those glass windows, and then it was like, well, they can see in now. So then we got them wrapped, and so we're slowly getting there. And we're also having the same issues kind of at our athletic fields as well. They're kind of sitting vacant right now also. So the hope is to get all these concession stands filled with some type of a concessionaire to offer delicious food opportunities.
Yeah, they were really pumped about talking about that. We go spend our money there, we're walking around locally and it's all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like skateboarders out of the skate park. So yeah.
Well, just even people from the rec and stuff, utilize it too, so.
I mean, people use this as a walking path. So the Amber Lane crowd is who I was talking to, and they were saying the same thing.
Okay.
But now the concession stand was built though, when that was still a football field there, right?
Yes.
So it was never really.
Well, I think those concession stands were used by the leagues and stuff when they're
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah,
the
when it was,
parents.
when it was a football field, and so when you had a Saturday all day of football, concession stand made sense, but.
Since then, the food laws have changed, and so the minimal expectations that state and even our city allows, none of our youth organizations qualify.
Really?
Yes, and then on top of that, our facilities don't qualify. So our facilities have to be, stainless steel countertops. If you're serving, you have to have, stainless steel this, stainless steel that. You have to have commercial grade microwaves, commercial grade refrigerators. These are our youth organizations who are it's a voluntary sport. They're not going to have the funds to do that. And so they look back on the city to be able to do that. Well, the city really can't do that because we're not in the business to go in and just make a whole restaurant. We have like 5 concession stands. So what I did for a little while I was over athletics is I contracted out a concessionaire. Well, then laws changed. I think Sandy said like a year ago again, which tightened the rope even harder. And so now you almost can't find anyone. So Farneywood, though, when they redid the Bark Park and we took Tiger football used to be out there, it was not up to grade. Now it is more up to grade, but it still it barely meets minimum expectations. So, and that's per our health and permitting department. Yeah.
Thank you for the update. Any other comments on that section? If not, we'll go to C8, Parks Division update.
Well, that was it right there. Yeah, we're good.
Discuss the park board's biannual update to city council.
So what we've included in your packet is the presentation that the chair made last year. And so, yeah. Just remember, we're going to do one review with council one time a year that the chair will. So, when I met with, David, what we discussed is trying to, have you all look at the whole presentation, and that'll kind of be our base. And if there's anything, we'll have to change it up, of course, we'll have to update it with kind of our new, there's a new format that we have to put in, but I was really more looking at input on the information. If the information is good, then we can, get it updated. And just kind of, it's a pretty simple presentation. It's just really an update of the year. So we can just kind of go slide by slide and that way just kind of go through it. So we start off mission vision. And probably what we'll do on this one is not only have kind of what the board, but we'll include the city strategic plan as well. So let's see how that fits with that. We'll add the strategic information there. So it kind of bonds with that. The next slide is looking at events. Of course, we're looking at the past year. And the way this is set up, we'll probably look more at fiscal year. So we're looking at last fall through this fall. So we definitely had, bluegrass. And so that would be in 23. We did not have Halloween. And we can speak to kind of how that's going to come back in 25. We had Veterans Day, we did not have Viva. We did a new event for Christmas, so we'll update those with the new events. We can talk a little bit about Denton Drive, Fishing Fun. We didn't offer Family Night, but we did have Independence Day. So we'll update this event slide. Is there anything else on events that? Yes, ma'am.
Did you say we did not have Halloween in the park last
We
year?
offered it in 23 and it rained out.
It rained down.
Rained out, okay, okay.
Correct.
I thought it was scheduled, but I was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was scheduled.
Okay, that's what I heard.
That would have been my first one.
I was so happy when I got the email. I
And
think it's
then-
from Linda.
Global,
It's rained out. Oh, goodness. I had all my rain jackets out there.
Global was in there.
Right.
Yes, so we'll put multicultural will be in there. Yeah, we'll update this with all the new events and things that, and really it's just a matter of Dave will just kind of go through the list and if council's got any questions, we'll be there to help support, what he's got, whatever he goes through. And then so the next slide is looking at some of the things, facility wise, talking about each of the facilities. So it's looking at, which is typically what you heard today, looking at, some of the membership numbers, for aquatics, the rec center. And, so we'll look at that. We'll look and see kind of where we are on that.
No, I would just suggest you think about doing it. And this is kind of in light of what just happened with the budget and everything. And put some real numbers in there, just how much revenue these facilities are generating. Rather than, revenue up 12%, what does that mean? But if you say you're making it's contributing $300,000 revenue, then it's like a way of showing that, it's not just, they're not just, costs.
Yeah.
But there's actually
Cost
revenue.
recovery.
See the
Yeah,
economic.
the cost recovery.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Stuff like
cost
that.
recovery, I think would be.
And in addition, the great customer service scores they made,
Mhm.
I think shows that it's really serving, not only is it generating revenue to offset expenses, but the residents enjoy it and are being treated,
They're giving very positive feedback.
positive feedback, yeah. That,
And it's not just the residents, based on what Paul said earlier tonight.
Yep.
Our reach is extensive,
yeah,
and that should probably be mentioned.
especially when you come to the pool, 50% of the people.
On Midlothian to Melissa. Waxahachie, did you say Waxahachie?
Yeah. So I just, sort of a preemptive thing, just that,
Well, we did start our new fees January. That's good. So that's something to mention too, the fee increases that council passed last fall started in January. And as you saw earlier, we have seen increases in revenue based on some of that. So that'll be something we'll definitely mention. And I think initially there was some comments from residents on the fees on the increase, but I think we kind of got through that and, because the increases were all easy to kind of, push through.
that gets back to the customer service scores. They've done it, but yet our customer service scores, new customer service scores remain high.
And I think it made sense with the fees went up with the facility upgrade. So I think that makes sense. I think it would have been hard to go up on fees if the facility hadn't kind of risen with it.
And I suspect the same thing's gonna happen to Branch Connection once it's done. You're gonna see a big increase. in
I agree.
usage on there.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we'll do that. Then we'll look at so it's got future, so we'll definitely look at some of the park projects. We'll probably talk, we'll definitely talk about Hoya and Berg. We did, Turf's been around for a while. We'll do updates on Mercer. Event center and maybe talk about, that moving to, completing that facility and then moving to tourism. We'll kind of talk through that. Got branch connection in here, so. Yeah, so we'll have something similar to that. We definitely had some things come up last year. And that's really about it. Is there anything we did that we've left off that you all would want to see? We can't go too long on the slides. I think we've got to be in that 5 or so slides. We can modify and change. And if there's anything that we didn't cover, is there anything that we missed that you all want to see?
I think that hits it.
That gets all the
Yeah.
main point.
Okay. So my goal will be to get you a draft by our next week before we meet. You can kind of see kind of where.
Sounds good.
So we'll take this will go to the December council meeting, which is the 10th. So.
12.
Or is it the 12th? Yeah, so November 12th. Yeah, December 10th. Okay.
November 12th, December 10th.
Yes. Sir. Yeah, this will go December. So for what we can do is decide. I think since we did this, I think that's why I wanted to take it in October, so we could kind of maybe bring it back, have it in time for the November. Y'all.
I think what Bob did last year is in the month, before he presented it, he presented it to us,
Okay,
and that was sort of like a
okay.
practice.
Right.
Dress rehearsal.
Got it. Shoot for that. Perfect. Okay.
Because we'll be sympathetic.
Yeah, full contact heckling.
Yeah, I thought you already talked to them in the video, so you did fine.
So we'll go to, now we'll go to agenda number 7, C10, receive an update from board members on parks, programs, events, or facilities attended in the city of Farmers Branch. So I've got one on September 20th. They had the Special Olympics event. I'd never been to that before. I was very impressed. Number one, by the crowd. So I was sitting with a team that came all the way up from Mahia. And, it's pretty impressed. And they're from all over, not just Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, it's just coming from Mahia. And Amber Sotelo threw out the first pitch. She did a great job. It was really, I was just very, I'd never been there before. I know you guys have been there a long time. This person I ever been exposed to it. And also, I'd never seen bocce ball before. That was interesting too. So I was just very impressed. I mean, it's a big deal, people coming from all the place. Mayor did a nice little, Mark was there, and Amber threw out the first pitch. I was just very impressed with all that. Really, I think it's really good. It reflects really well on Farmers Branch to have that. I mean, you can't help but be inspired by the Special Olympics athletes.
We do that every year and you all will get an invite every year, to attend, to just informational stuff for you.
It was good.
Yeah, there are a lot of families that come that have been coming every year. So,
It's fun, does the city still sponsor that Premier Baseball League like they did in the past 2 years ago?
Premier actually moved to another location. I want to say 4 years ago, we stopped. Yeah, they moved to it's actually in a different state.
What about the girls softball, college?
No, they also haven't came back. Mhm. Yeah.
Well, it's a very nice facility that Steve and I talked about when our boys were younger, they used to play soccer over there all the time and baseball. So it's very nice facility, very nice facility. But the bocce ball, like I said, I've never even seen that before. And I was impressed that they were able to set all that up. Pretty cool.
Don't we, is it bocce in, Gussie? Isn't there a setup for bocce
Yeah,
in
by the
Gussie that the
Roseburg.
French people use on Sundays?
Bocce area.
I don't know.
Just south of the Rose Garden and in that grove of trees, there's a setup for bocce.
Oh, wow.
And there's a French organization. I think you get a lot of people from, Essilor. Sorry, it's time for my dog's friends. So a lot of them, there used to be a Sunday morning league, and they'd be over there playing bocce on Sunday mornings.
What part of that?
Is the city involved with the pickleball Brookhaven, or just Brookhaven put it?
It's the tourism, it's Brookhaven's event, and then the tourism department's kind of supporting
Oh,
and the rest of the city, but yeah, it's really, it's the pickleball, so there's a couple of associations that are funding it with Brookhaven, the country club.
oh, okay.
And then we're kind of, our support is really getting the hotels filled in, so we kind of bridge that gap with trying to link the hotels with the event. And then they also went after, the tourism team went after some grant money to kind of help with some of the expenses.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's really mainly the pickleball associations and the Brookhaven.
And our parks,
And the staffing.
yeah, our rec teams, our Parks and Rec team and the Tourism Historical Park team, they are staffing the hospitality tent
Oh, okay.
during all those days. And we did it last year also. The team loved it. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on C10?
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Sorry, a question. The homeless situation, my walk the other day behind City Hall, there's somebody camped out and then I took the little cut through that's not on the paved path, it's on the dirt path. You know, who do I call?
PD.
Yeah. you can call it,
Non-emergency
yeah.
PD.
And we need to be careful.
I know. That's the first time I've seen that.
Well, anywhere, because
Yeah.
it's, you know, even us as employees during the day, I mean, we're every,
Yeah, they come into City Hall and there's only, so much that we can do, but we stay vigilant on what's going on. And then, of course, they camp out at all of our athletic fields. Unfortunately, they can't do anything until it's after 10,
Mhm.
still a public park.
It's just like,
Yeah,
so it's like, is this person even still with us? Kind of thing.
Mm.
all you can do is call the police.
Hmm?
All you can do is call the police.
Okay.
And if you call them enough, they'll go away because I know I didn't drive. There was about 2 months ago, I called every single day. Like I would just get in my car and drive over there, even after 10. And finally, it's been, you'll see one or two, but there was a camp out there. And they're gone now. Did they got that? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, typically they're in places you really can't see for the most part.
Well, this one was so, because that path does get walked pretty regularly. And so I was kind of shocked. I've known about down at the creek and down and under the bridges and everything else. This was,
The PD is aware. I know they did have problems with a couple of individuals in that area. And they were aware of it. And I can't say that they've increased patrols because it kind of goes cyclical, I know that it's going to start getting colder, so they're probably not going to be out as much. The weather's really good now, but once it starts really getting, different temperatures, then it's, Metro Chris is aware too. They do outreach on a pretty regular basis. I think they're probably in Farmers Branch at least once a week. Going around town, hitting the hot spots, for the most part. So, and like I said, like Linda said, just try to be cognizant of it. Like we had the other day, we were in HR, I was in the HR director's office for a meeting, And there was a couple of homeless individuals, they were sitting right at her window. I mean, like she was right here typing and like the window was here and they were, I mean, it was like they were almost in her office and they were just having a conversation on their phone, but they were sitting in the windowsill and, you know, you can't work, you know.
I was
so-
getting ready to get on the elevator to go up to the second floor and it was, I was waiting for it. When the doors open on the first floor, you can tell when they're homeless. I mean, you just can tell by the way they look. So this guy was gonna get out of the elevator and he had two backpacks. And he saw me getting on and he's like, "Are you going up?" And I said, "Yes." And so he was gonna stay on the elevator and I got back out. And so then he didn't go up. He decided to get out. So once he got out, then I got on, but I thought, I'm not gonna ride in the elevator. And, even though we have a lot more security inside City Hall, they don't have any reason anymore to be up on the second floor. Yet without an employee coming down to get, the customer and stuff, because even for park rental, we get called and said, there's a customer for park rental and I'll say, go ahead and send them up and I'll meet them at the door or at the elevator because, the door is locked. Yeah, it's become dangerous. And that's during work hours.
At City Hall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they'll hide out in the bathrooms, yes, it's just scary.
Anything else, the other comments on C10? If not, we'll go to C11, discuss potential agenda items for future meetings. Anybody have anything you'd like to have added?
Yes, when you hear about concessions, not next meeting, but when you make progress, be interesting.
Okay.
All the normal updates
Mhm.
on that septic system out there.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while, hasn't it? Anybody else, any other comments? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
It's like